In this video we'll be looking at section 4.2. Writing equations in point writing equations in slope-intercept form. And our essential question will be, how do I write an equation given a graph table or equation? Okay. So first we need to always remember what our slope-intercept form looks like. And that's this one, y equals mx plus b. So there's really two things that we need to do. Step one, let's call it 3 steps. Step one, identify the y-intercept. How we identify the y-intercept is A, where the graph crosses the y-axis, or B, where x equals 0. It's the y value where x equals 0. Step two, identify the slope or rate of change. And that's our m equals change in y over change in x. In step 3, plug our m value and b value into the equation. Y equals mx plus b. And let's make a note, identify the y-intercept. This is the b value. so let's do a couple of examples. So we're going to identify our y-intercept, we'll identify our slope or our rate of change, and then we'll plug everything in. Examples. So let's say I have our graph. We'll cross right here at this point. And let's cross right here at this point. So it's 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. And this point was 0, -2. And we'll draw our line. Okay. So 1, find the y-intercept, the b value. So we look over here, and where am I crossing my y-axis? Right here. And so I find that b equals -2. Step 2. Find the slope, the m value. So we'll count our slope. So I'll go 1, 2, 3. So it goes up 3. 1, 2, 3. It's a positive 3. And then I go up 4. Didn't go up quite far enough, so let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went up 4. And then we went over 1, 2, 3 over 3. So my change in y, 4 over my change in x, 3. And the last thing, plug in. Plug into y equals mx plus b. So we have our m, we have our b, and we just plug in. So I'd have y equals 4/3 x plus -2. So I'd say plus -2. But instead of writing plus and negative, we'll write it as just a minus sign. So y equals 4/3 x minus 2. So we found the y-intercept, we found the slope, then we plugged it in. So we're going to use those same 3 steps, but instead, this time let's look at a table. Okay, so we'll look at this table and we're going to use these same 3 steps. Find the y-intercept, find the slope, and then plug in. Well, where does the y-intercept occur? When I look back at my notes, the y-intercept is the y value where x equals 0. So I'm looking for the y value where x equals 0. So my y-intercept is right here. So I get b equals -1. Now we can find our rate of change. My change in x is plus 2 each time, and then my change in y is minus 4. And so we're going to do change in y over change in x. So my m will equal change in y, negative 4, over my change in x, which is 2. So we'll write that as negative 2 over 1. Change in y over change in x, and now we plug in. So y equals negative 2 over 1 x minus 1. Since b is negative, we'll say it's a minus 1. And the last thing is if we want to write an equation. So say I'm given an equation and we want to convert that to our slope-intercept form. So let's say writing a given equation in slope-intercept form by solving for y. So if we're given an equation, all we want to do is solve this equation for y, and then it'll be in that slope-intercept form. So for example, say I'm given the equation negative 3x minus 4y equals negative 12. So the main idea is solve for y. Get y by itself. So let's go through that process. So we'll add 3x to both sides. These 3x's will cancel. We'll bring down our negative 4y is equal to, I like to put my x's first so they're positive, so I'll say 3x minus 12. Now we have to divide each term by the coefficient of y to get y by itself. So I'm going to divide each term by negative 4. Because we need to be equal opportunity dividers, and then I will get y by itself. So, and we choose the negative because a negative divided by a negative will be a positive. So that becomes just y. And this stays a fraction, so I have 3 over negative 4x. And then I have negative 12 over negative 4, which becomes a positive 3. And that's how we can solve for y so that we have an equation written in slope-intercept form. But thank you very much for watching this video. This is how 3 different ways of writing equations in slope-intercept form. First way if given as a graph, second way if given as a table, and then third way if we have to rewrite an equation. So let me put some dividers in here. There we go. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.